Jaime Santos, a student from De La Salle Isabel, and I want to talk about how we can see God through our morality. Now, first things first, let's discuss what is morality. Well, if you read up in the dictionary or look it up online, some would say morality is an act on deciding what is good or what is bad. Most people would have a different way of defining morality. Well, because morality itself is subjective. Morality can be defined based on how one grew up or how one was educated. Perhaps you grew up believing eating pork is bad. For Christians, it is indifferent. And for Muslims, it is really bad. Now, one would ask, how does one interpret what is good? Well, let's look into this example, shall we?
I can finally buy medicine for my mom.
Oh no, where's my money? Tonyo? Have you seen my 1,000 pesos? But I was just walking here. You're the only one here.
I haven't seen it.
No. I was gonna pay my tuition. Well, thank you.
The act that Tonyo just did, perhaps for him, he would say it's indifferent because he found an opportunity to use the money to save his mother's life. However, some would say it is bad, especially Snowy, because it is the act of stealing, which is against one of our 10 commandments, which is not to steal. However, the act itself is just an act. You don't really see the goodness or the bad side of it. You judge it, you interpret it, because it's just a man picking up bills on the floor. One can tell if the act is good or bad based on how the person perceives it to be based on his or her moral standing.
No, ang really messed up.
Bono, stop. Don't you know your moral code?
Yeah, of course I know my moral code. I can distinguish something good from bad. And I don't need a God to tell me what good is.
There's something to consider about what Snowy said earlier about knowing our moral code. I mean, as a human or as a person, our duties are based on the code given. Like, what we know is right, what we do is right, what we know is wrong. There's that little voice inside our heads called the conscience. Some would say it's our gut feeling. Some of us use it as a reason to do stuff. Like, if we can't really explain it, we just say, I just felt like it. That little voice inside our heads is what guides us into doing things we feel is right. And sometimes we can't even overcome it. Sometimes we fall into it, even if we don't want to. That little voice inside our head that gives us the idea of what to do, based on our moral codes, is that voice of God. So now you know how one can be educated to what is good and how one can interpret what's good or bad. Now, with that, let's look at the perspectives of Christian and Islamic religions. If you think about it, their moral standings are pretty much similar to each other. They both have common natural laws, such as killing is bad, stealing is bad, homosexuality is discouraged. But the big Q is who created these natural laws. The thing is, man is imperfect, so he or she cannot create these natural laws. It must be someone higher than man.
That someone is God.